Today, the tourists are here in their masses for this world-class marathon, now in its 27th year, organised by the brilliant RunCzech organisation. They have assembled some of the very best elite runners from around the world, battling for the honours in this year's race. A beautiful city that welcomes people from around the world. And we really do have something very special for you today, as the elites are warming up with their final preparations. Today, we are very excited to announce that it is not just a individual event where they will be battling for those honours, but also battle of the teams. You might have seen the shields on the front of our runners, and we'll take you through that, where the masses and the elites all join together to score points for their 5 teams. And it really does create a team atmosphere, as there's the course, a super fast course. Remember, much of it will go over the Prague half marathon course that has seen world records, and I know the organisers are looking for those records to be broken. The men's course record 2:05.39 going back to 2010 and 2019. Lorna Chakai was 2:19.46 for the women's record. So the course itself going much over Vltava River, and the flat course to the side. But the weather today is looking exceptional. In the technical meeting last night, they were discussing it being the best weather they've had in the 27th edition of the Prague International Marathon. You can see just 6 kilometers of wind and very favorable temperatures for here this May day. Always a popular destination. The weather in May can obviously heat up sometimes, but runners today greeted with ideal conditions. And going back to those course records, well, ideal conditions really does mean that there's no excuses for the elites out there not to challenge those records. Eliud Kiptanui's record set back in, as I said, 2010, and pre the introduction of super shoes. So this today could be the day. And there's the masses. Again, you can see the battle of the teams, how it works. So 5 teams formatted, 4 pro athletes, plus 2 backups within there as well. So 30 will formulate the 5 teams. And then the 5th member of the non-professional runners are registered, who then they get to choose which of the teams that they wanted to be part of. So it's really designed to get a kind of team atmosphere within what is sometimes a very individual sport, and trying to get the masses switched on to being part of something just a little bit bigger than they are. And you can see on the start line the pacers with their bibs on the front, who play such a crucial role in making sure we can attack those course records. And you can see the lineup for the teams and the formulation of the battle of the teams. Carlo Caballo, the president of RunCzech, so animated around this battle of the teams, and bringing it to the fore. Happened for the first time last year, and now trying to build on it. And you can see Prague Airport, Matoni, Team Rolik are in there as well. Jamala, Cheska, put over that, and Skubana, Czech are the teams that are going to be battling it out. So those that have visited Prague know what a beautiful city it is. There's so much history, so much culture, a beautiful city to walk around, to run around, and you'd almost have to spend multiple weeks here if you are a visitor to even explore just 10% of the beautiful city. Known as the heart of Europe sometimes, and home to over 1.3 million locals, and many of them will be running today. It's around about 81% will be Czech Republic runners, and then 19% made up of internationals. And there's some of our Japanese runners. Very close relationship with the Osaka Marathon. The winner of the Osaka Marathon, or the first Japanese runner, will get an invite here, and vice versa. The first Czech runner over the line will also get their invite over to the Osaka Marathon. So we'll take you through some of the elites. The defending champion, Norbert Keegan, is looking to be the first man to ever retain or be a two-time champion of the Prague International Marathon. And Alexander Risto Morano is one to look out for. He's a 203 man in Valencia in December. Morano is a talented athlete, very well versed, under 59 minutes over the half marathon distance. Cisa Lema, a winner of the London Marathon in 2021, and so consistent in the marathon majors. Birkanesh Odessa is probably the favourite in the women's race. So 2:18:51 in Berlin. So the only runner with a time inside that course record. Gemma Ty's course record, as they going back just 3 years. And I know the organisers again have the pace set up for a sub-2:20 race. Karden and Rotich, the Ugandan Rebecca Cheptegei, famous surname, will also be looking to challenge the top honours here. And there's the excitement of the masses. Many of them will be out there running for their clubs, running for their charities. They have their own goals, their own paces to try and stick to. Winchester Square welcomes the masses and the elites today. So moving away from the old town square that was a little bit congested. This new space just allows the logistics, allows a little bit more space and an ability to filter the masses. Just over 11,000 entries for the 2023 edition of the Prague International Marathon. I know Petr Pavel, the president of the Czech Republic, will be delighted to be sending the runners on their way at 9 o'clock. The former Army General, chairman or former chairman of the NATO Military Committee. There he is, big smile. They're very proud of this race, and also the whole profile and portfolio of the RunCzech organisation, who do such sterling work and have survived the pandemic and are looking to go from strength to strength. So they're just waiting to give the president the thumbs up. As you can hear, the heart rate and the tannoy system. The tension is building here for the start of the Prague International Marathon 2023. Last-minute shakeouts, last-minute preparations before the president sends them on their way. And the gun is fired. And in these early stages, it will be a case of the elites trying to settle down. At the technical meeting last night, there's 4 paces in this front group. And they're going to have that vital job of setting the pace. And they're looking at 2:57 per kilometre. That would bring them around about the 62-minute mark at the halfway. So I know they're looking for a time around about the 2:04:30 mark, so it's going to need to be inside 3 minute per kilometers. 3:01 is the pace of the second group. Evan Diego is the man in charge of that second group. So, but it's Tibet, Kemboy, Kiprop, who are the main pacers that will be charged with that front group, and they have to share it and have to make sure that they try and go as far as possible. And they'll still be coming over the start line for the next few minutes, and you can see already on the top left-hand of the screen, the front of the field are already half a kilometre up the road, so that's the speed they're travelling, but that's also the masses. What a great sight to see. And these were sights that were sorely missed over the years and months that mass participation races were put on hold. And that is something that RunCzech are very keen to really try and build on now. Is bringing people together, bringing the running community together across Europe, across the world, and their event profile definitely does that. The Prague Half Marathon, just over a month ago, saw again stellar times over the 13.1 mile distance. Much of that course will be covered today a couple of times, so the runners know that it's going to be fast. A few cobbled sections, but not too many. It's almost impossible to run a marathon in Prague without having some cobbles, and you can see them following the tracks of the trams. And they'll be getting great support already. The locals really do come out onto the streets, and they are very proud people of their city. 8 million tourists roughly a year that flock here. And not peak season yet for tourists, but if you were walking the streets and you have been here the last couple of days, still so busy. And a real buzz to the city, and look at that. I think we'll be spoilt by the aerial shots through today's programming. One of the most scenic and beautiful of marathon locations in the world. So the masses smiling. 3 minutes on the race clock, but they'll be activating the chip timing mats that you see underneath the start gantry. And there'll be multiple points on the course. So if you do have runners that you know that are running, then advisable to download the RunCzech app, and then you can follow the elite splits as well as any friends and family you have out on the streets of Prague today. And it looks like one of the masses has decided to see how long he can stay at the front of this race, and it's an impressive start. Wearing 13, just starting to fade now as he gets towards the mile point. And a little bit of an ambitious jump onto the curb. Not always advisable for runners, but getting himself out the way of the pacers. They will just want to concentrate on the job in hand. So that's the first mile ticked off, 26 miles in total, so a long way to go. And we will keep you updated with the splits as we do chase those course records. So pace 1 on the right hand of the screen, that is Abel Chibet. He's a 61 half marathon runner to his best, but it's won Tilburg over 10 miles, 46 minutes low, so that's very handy running indeed. Elias Kemboy, he's pace 2, the 2:07 man from Frankfurt, so knows how to go the full distance over the marathon. And some beautiful music playing in the background. Mozart was a resident of Prague. So we wrote the Prague Symphony here, and the music today will be made by our runners. The sound of their feet on the cobbled streets at the moment. They see on the right hand of the screen one of our non-elites, and you can see the effort that he's putting in to stay in front. I mean, again, it just shows you the quality of the paces and the elite athletes. They'll be running this pace for the duration of the marathon. And our younger athlete out there right now is just seeing how long he can stay out front. Getting some quality airtime. Something to tell his friends and family about if he's heading back to home later today. I'm sure they're watching him on TV. So you can just see the effort. And you can see also the paces, the 3 paces at the front, and the shields of the battle of the teams. And this is one of the most famous bridges. This is the Charles Bridge. So it was absolutely packed last night. I tried to run across it, no chance. But the runners themselves, they have exclusive rights today. You can see on the back of that group the aforementioned Cisse Lemmer. So he has a personal best 2:03 from 2019 from Berlin, running for the Team Prague Airport today in Battle of the Teams. And that was pace of 4 going through, and that's Evan Diego. So we're based in Japan, Evans, and raced multiple times over 5 kilometers on the track, 10K on the track this year. And ran a 63 half marathon back in November. So he'll be handily placed in that second group. And there they are, what a great shot of the Charles Bridge. As you come off the drop down, loads of restaurants and loads of people enjoying themselves. Lots of hen and stag parties flock to Prague, and there were a few of those out last night, pedaling boats up and down the river. Hopefully they all got back safely as they make the left-hand turn. Pacers checking their watches, and again, just with a few undulations in the early part of the course, and it's so important to settle down that early pace. Chebet, Kemboy, Kiprot. So Stephen Kiprot is pace 3. So a blistering 42 minutes of 15 kilometers back in 2018. He's also a sub 59-minute half marathon runner from the RAC half marathon in 2019. So Kiprot is a very accomplished runner in his own right. So a few runners have gone sub 59 minutes, and he's one of those for the half marathon distance. So the lead female athletes approaching not far from 3 kilometers. Our men are way over 2 miles now. So well supported by the local runners, the local clubs. And there is the lead female athlete that you can see in the orange. I think that is Rebecca Cheptegei. To the the world marathon, the world mountain running champion. So fascinating CV. Chep the guy has, the 32-year-old Ugandan, 2:22 Dubai for the marathon. And, many think that she's also got a little bit more in there. So see Shield 2 on her vest. And, she loves mountains, but I tell you what, she's not going to be finding many undulations today. But, the mother of two in the army, and today I think really looking to get amongst it, and she can improve that 2:22. Yeah, it's mad to say now that 2:22 is good, but 2:20 is that absolute world-class figure now in elite women's racing, giving the acceleration, the depth, just the quality in men's and women's marathon running. And you'd almost say again that that men's course record stood now for 13 years. It's long overdue revision. Hello, Kiptanui's 2:05.39.
Je projekt, který pomáhá těm, kteří by sami běžet nemohli. Děti se spolu mistrovství prolétnou celou maratonskou tratí s těmi, kteří je provezou.
So many stories. And, these are some of our charity runners that are raising such vital funds, and they're going to be getting such great support out there. And there's the man himself, Carlo the King, they call him. So he's the driving force behind RunCzech. Just spending a few minutes with him if you ever get a chance. He literally lives and breathes running. Fascinating background, the Italian that played rugby in his formative years, and when he came to running slightly later in life, and well, the way he's driven the RunCzech organisation, and again just talking and being part of the organisers and those that have worked on the events going back to 1995. 1,000 runners took part in their first event, and just look at it now, how much it's grown, and said they were always trying to challenge innovation, initiative, and also things today with the way that you can view runners as well. Runners can view themselves through Pulse TV, so always things going on. I said if you do get a chance to download the app, then you can also chase and have a look at any runners that you know that are out on the streets of Prague right now. A few selfies being taken. You won't see any selfies by the elites. They will be concentrating on the job. But, I know many people will be taking pictures, soaking up the sounds and sights of Prague as they go around this course. Where most runners now have departed the start area. Wenceslas Square has been the home to our runners at the start, and they also will welcome them home in just over 2 hours for our elite men. Be the first to cross the line, and then the masses going on into this afternoon. And every runner here is always welcome, and even the last runner counts towards the team competition, the battle of the teams. It's the first 5 kilometers inside 15 minutes, so maybe just a little shy of the 2:57 per kilometer, but inside 3 minutes per kilometer. But the first part of the course, a few twists and turns, so a fraction slower, I think, than last year's first 5 kilometers. Norbert Keegan, the winner 12 months ago, and, that day 14:51 was the opening 5 kilometers. pace 5. Damian Velch is the Czech runner, running for RunCzech, who, their own running club. Again, has supported many international runners as well. There's runners that have been alumni of them. Stephen Kiprot is one of those, the pacer 3. So formerly a RunCzech athlete himself. So they have pushed and supported international and local Czech runners alike. You can see the pacer of the women's race. And in the joint men's and women's races, you will get a large amount of men knowing that they've almost got some elite paces as well. So they know they're going for sub 220. So some good national and club standard runners will lock onto that, knowing that the pacers will do a great job. Hopefully get them to a time that they're looking to achieve. Jeremiah Cesarek is that women's pacer. He's done it on multiple occasions. So a pacer that's travelled the world, and, paced in the likes of Valencia, and, knows how to pace 218 races. As our pacers are 4 abreast at the front. And, all the athletes we're expected to see there. Philemon Moreno is one of those on a career where it looks pretty controlled. The Kenyan Rono 205 flat from Toronto 2019. Career ran his best in Valencia, many times coming from Valencia. 205.37. So he's Team Rolik in the battle of the teams. Now you can see the points already being accumulated, and it is Team Rolik with the likes of Rono Correa, who are leading the team scores at the moment. So still a lot to play for, a lot of miles and kilometers to be ran. See, check the guy in the orange and blue shorts on the right hand of the screen. Working Eshadessa. Team Matoni is the athlete with the green shield right in the centre in the Adidas strip. One of the main supporters of RunCzech. They've supported RunCzech to such a strong level. And there's one of the good, strong club runners just in that gap between. You might want to take a little look behind and see the massive pack that he could form into, and our elite women are getting a really good ride at the moment with those paces, and they're not too far from the 6 kilometre mark. So the men, they're at 4 miles now. Some very flat and fast running on this section. Almost no effort in the early stages, very economical. That is the name of the game in marathon running, to be as economical and as controlled early on. So one thing we will see is the drink stations. We're not far from the first 6.8 kilometers, so most of them on the right hand side. So this is always the time where runners need to be wary early on. It's so important they get their fluids on board. So important they keep their energy levels topped up. And obviously the early stages of the marathon, when the packs are fairly large, and the women are going to have the same issue themselves, being that they are flanked by the elite pacemaker, but also the club men as well, that they need to find room and space to get over to get their elite drinks bottles. The elites last night were sorting out which and where their drinks would go. Different concoctions per runner and also per stage of the race as well. So they're all organised last night and then kept refrigerated and then put out onto the course today and manned and looked after. Before then the runners safely collected. But it looks as if we've hopefully gone without incident at the first drink station. They were brief last night that each of the drink stations are on the right-hand side other than exactly at halfway. And that is the only drink station on the left, but it's amazing. Even with some simple instructions, the brain and the emotions of the racing will take over at some point, but it's a manageable pack at the moment.
Follow me.
You can hear the lead bike just giving them instructions, wanting them to take the fastest route. And they're wearing bib, or the Shield 1. That's Sisilema, the Ethiopian, who started running aged 17, which is late in comparison to some of his compatriots, and started barefoot. Found that he was not just good, but very good. And he really has been a super consistent runner. Made his marathon debut back in 2012. Probably his breakthrough race, Dubai. A couple of years later, 2015, 2:07, and also won Vienna that year. So well-travelled, third in Berlin in 2019. That was in his personal best, 2:03.36. Third in Tokyo, third in London that same year. So 3 marathon majors, podium positions, and then had the fortune and the strangest of London Marathon victories in 2021, where he was in a COVID bubble, where one of the athletes that he'd been around in the hotel had come down with COVID, and they were then put in isolation. They warmed up on their own section of the London Marathon course, and they were only allowed back to join the runners on the start line. He won the race and was whisked off back to the hotel, so didn't even get to stand on the top spot of the podium. Gianni Dinamandana, his well-respected and known agent, got to stand on the mole and receive the trophy for him. So there's a photo somewhere of Gianni with the men's trophy for the London Marathon. So hopefully not a story to be repeated, because you know, so many moments were lost by missed races and lost races. But to not get your moment when you've won something as big as the London Marathon. But wouldn't he love to be top spot of the podium today? Sisilema, the Ethiopian. So if he does, then I haven't seen Gianni here, so he's not going to be on top spot. It'd be great to see Cisse on the top spot of that podium. But a lot of running to go. And, see the 4 pacers who are looking very controlled. That is pacer 1 on the front. That is Abel Chebet, 29-year-old Ugandan. He's just a strong, talented runner. Adidas vest to the 4 there of the paces, and the RunCzech vest getting some great airtime. And there's the Czech runner we mentioned earlier, wearing the pace 5, Damian Vanch. And he'll be getting some great support out there, and good learning as well. So for someone like himself that is looking to bridge that gap to world class, rubbing shoulders with world class athletes for a number of kilometres and feeling what it's like to run at what is that course record pace at the moment. We're inside, well, there or there about that 2.5 marker at the moment. It looks like we've got 2 of our elite women in this lead group. Still look over the shoulder and just relaxed kind of early start to this race, which you would expect. Odessa is a super talented athlete. Behind her you can see Rebecca Cheptegei. It's like contrasting styles, but very economical. And you can see the team scoring in the battle of the team. Team Rollick still leading, again towards the 5,000 points. So nine kilometers down. The helicopters above, that's why we've got such great aerial shots. There's a lot of those to come through today. Selema there, the athlete, just slightly on the back of that group now. Just again, just a little bit of an update. Again, the motorbike just making sure they know that they need to get back onto the pace. That's is Alexandra. Just so he's a strong runner, really strong runner. He's also a sub 59-minute half marathon runner from a rat race, but actually his personal best is inside 58 minutes. I should correct myself. Sits fourth on that all-time list, 57.59 in that unbelievable Valencia race in 2020. So he's someone that, well, has a huge pedigree. That 2:03.29 in Valencia, behind Kelvin Kiptum, who ran the fastest debut. The young Kenyan, 23 years of age, who you might have seen a couple of weeks ago winning on the streets of London, the second fastest time of all time. So I'm sure Alexander is looking to lay down to show his consistency. And, 2:03 in Valencia. So he's someone that, when you look at that course record, would be thinking, you know, there's 40,000 euros on the course record today, as well as obviously the individual prize money, the appearance money. So there is a good payday for someone. So athletes have got close over the last few years, Galen Rupp being one of them, a US Olympic bronze medalist, winning a couple of years ago with great applause in low 2.6. Last year, 2:07.54, the winning time. So they're operating at 3 minutes a kilometre almost through the whole race, and just the latter stages. No, but Keegan just slowing down. So getting told that they're running 2:58 per kilometre. So just slightly outside the pace they require.
1 second faster, 1 second faster.
And it's brutal out there. You can just see it in terms of the importance of the pace. They know every second counts, and the pacers know themselves. If they're looking to get towards that that 30 kilometre mark. That would be absolute gold for these pacers. But, to do that, you have to be a world-class half marathon and marathon runner yourself to run on the front of an elite race like this. The next drink station, and and there we go. Just a switch off from our runners, just switching off for a second, and then the drink station is upon them, and then they have to go back for it. So Stephen Kiprot there, so 29:44, the split through 10 kilometers. So we are on course record pace, slightly outside the 2:4 pace that was requested, but that's not anything to worry about. There's a lot of running to go, and there's an action replay. Oh, look at that! The energy lost in stopping, going backwards, deaccelerating, and then having to accelerate back up to race pace again. So it is interesting. Months and months spent training hundreds of kilometers, hundreds of repetitions in training, and then a lapse of concentration at a drink station can cost you dearly. Vltava River there, the longest river in the Czech Republic. Starts in the Bohemian forest and makes its way up north. Very busy, as I said last night, with boats and social boats on there. But a lot of runners out last night on the cycle paths and the paths that our runners will be going multiple times around today. So probably one of the quietest parts of the course. So the masses still going over the Charles Bridge as our elite women come towards their 10-kilometre split as well. A little check of the watch. They're looking for around about 3:20, 3:19 per kilometre, and that would put them in the 2:18, definitely the sub 2:20 range. Try and get an update of the chasers behind. The pace, Jeremiah Chesarek, the women's pacer there. You see on the right hand of the screen. Just checking his watch, and that pack that includes obviously the national runners, the top club runners. And they seem to be enjoying the company of this big group as well. And that could be the third female just trying to chase them down on the back of that. Could be Targan, 2:22 set in Slovenia last year, and the Ethiopian trying to get back to them. But that's our lead pack, almost in formation. Paces 1 and 3 on the front of that. So Abel Jabet, pace 1, Stephen Kiprot. We expect Stephen to go all the way to 30 kilometres. And then the shields behind. Almost emphasis on the fact that this is going to be a battle today. A beat from the techno sound system on the side of the course, the Ethiopian flags flying. They'll be getting great support out on the course. Team Rolik still winning the team competition at the moment. Prague Airport trying to close that gap in the battle of the teams. But this at the moment is coming down to a battle of East Africa, Kenya versus Ethiopia already. So it looked like one of the Japanese athletes was leading the chasing group. And they were being paced at around about the 2:06 mark. So whether they can close the gap, but it is strength in numbers at the moment in this elite league group. So a month on from the Prague half marathon. Again, so many people travel for that, and many of them double back, come back out again. It formulates a nice program for the local runners and the Czech runners alike, having such a quality half marathon a month out from the marathon. And, the RunCzech organisers are busy pretty much all year. Their program starts over in Italy with the Napoli City half marathon, and normally ends in Italy again. Sorrento ultra marathon at the start of December. But, many half marathons, 10Ks. The Adidas women's 10K, part of that program as well, and return to action and return to sport. You know, they've been part of that during the pandemic. World records over the half marathon distance when race organisers very scared, very nervous to get back out there. Carlo Caballo's the driver of that. His close links with the IAAF and European athletics, and that is the strength of these races. The gold level stamp that the Prague International Marathon, the Prague Marathon, and so many of their other races on their event profile. So the gold level is the stamp of absolute quality assurance, and the RunCzech organisation are sought after in what they do, in the organisation, the infrastructure, but there's a level of delivery and a level of expectancy of the elite runners, the organisers, the coaches, the agents, and the RunCzech organisers are, well, they're absolute pros at that. So the fact that this is obviously a gold level again, and that is testament to the hard work that goes behind the scene, and the sponsors, the supporters. So when you have the president there starting the race, then obviously to have the political support as well is just again testament to the RunCzech organisation. So if you are looking to head out for future RunCzech races, said in the Czech Republic, but over in beautiful parts of Italy as well. I wonder whether Napoli are quietening down after their Serie A winning title in the football this year, or this week I should say. So it might just die down by the time the half marathon goes back there again in February. So I did see an Italian record there, Crippa running the Italian half marathon record. So look at that, just a standard building in Prague. It's a beautiful history, and look at that, some great numbers on the side of the streets. Coming up to 20 to 10 in the morning here in Prague. If you have joined us here on the international feed, welcome to the 2023 Prague International Marathon. It's an absolute pleasure being here in this beautiful city. So a city known for its culture, known for its history, and definitely with runners, it's known for its fast, quality races. And that's exactly why this field is one of the very best fields that has been assembled this year. And again, that's testament to the elite runner coordinators and the managers and agents that want to support this race. And we are coming up to 14 kilometers, so still a lot of running to go towards we get to that halfway point. 15.9 is the next drink stop for the runners. Still our two paces at the fore with the shields of the runners behind. But so Lemmer, Rono, Correa, Norbert Keegan, the defending champion. There's been a few female athletes to defend their titles, but not many, or no men, so I should say, have managed to do that. There's the chase group behind. Pace 4, just telling them just to settle down. Evans, Yago. And, just making sure these athletes are controlled in what they're doing. Takaraku there, the Japanese runner, one of 5 Japanese runners that take to the streets today in the elite men's race. All of them are sub 210 athletes. And all of them looking to improve their personal best. Just a slight back to Kaya there, the Japanese athlete wearing 5 on his bib, or 5 on his shield. Good international flavour. That Benjamin, president, the Canadian 210 athlete, that looking to get back into a group. So hard if they start to drop off a group at this early stage. The Mexican athlete going through Perez, 2:13 from Hamburg last year, running for Team Rolik. And now significant. This could be a slight break in the women's race. Could be Odessa just deciding that the pace wasn't quite fast enough, just wanting the pace just to increase. Merkanash has gone through that 10 kilometers in 33:28, so around about the pace they wanted, just a fraction outside 3:20 per kilometer. But that does, you know, give them around about that 2:20 mark, so it's good early running, and that group was significantly larger. And the fact that only one of the men that was in that lead group is able to go with it. And then the athlete with the fastest personal best in the field, 2:18.51. Happy to get back to the pacemaker, Jeremiah Chesrek. Just signalling that the turn. Pacers will do that. They'll be giving some good instructions to the runners. And Rebecca Cheptegei was in that group. And she's not to be seen there. That's interesting. And that's significant, because that is a significant gap already. And there she is. You can just see Cheptegei was just coming into shot there, but that was a significant gap. And that's happened just in the last few kilometers. They went through 10 kilometers shoulder to shoulder. Twagen was in there as well, and all of them went through, and around about the 33.5 minute mark. Rangarui, Margaret Rangarui was 43 seconds back on our athletes there. Viola Kibuat was also chasing. Viola fantastic story. I mean, she's currently in 5th place, or was at 5th place at 10 kilometers, 34:13, but a 39-year-old Kenyan. So a sub 4-minute 1500 meter runner, and she was 6th in the 2012 Olympics, 4th in the World Championships in 2013 and 2015, over 5 kilometers. And if you cast your eyes and your mind back to 2007, 5th in the World 1500 meter Championships. So and still out there now in 5th place. So experience and 2:25 lifetime best. So stepping up distance, and still out there at 39. But we should be surprised. The quality of runners now going on into their latter 30s and into their 40s. You have to look at the likes of Kenenisa Bekele and Elia Kipchoge. Our own British, so Mo Farah breaking our national British Masters record in London, 2:10. Just a 4-minute improvement on Andy Davis's national Masters record. So Masters are rocking it. Sinead Diver's another one of those, the Australian running personal bests, I think at the age of 45. So and there's Cheptegei, and you can see it's going to be a lonely race at the moment, given that she's dropped off that group already. You can just see her kind of rocking and rolling, and that's not what you want in the early stages. Leotwagen, the athlete behind, the Ethiopian, who is closing that gap, and they're the pacer 2 of the women's race. Dennis Kochi is the athlete that is in charge of that. And, that group again, Margaret's in there, you can see sat controlled in the early stages. And Margaret Wangarui, the Commonwealth Games silver medalist from last year from Birmingham. And anyone that was there, anyone that saw the course, it was a tough course. And her lifetime best came from that 2:28 flat for the silver medal. But that was a real tough fought race, and 3rd in the World Cross Country Championships previously. So again, a very versatile runner, Margaret, and sat in that 2nd pace group. But there's a few of the elite women up in front of her that she's going to get onto the podium, that she's going to have to work through. Viola Kibawat also in that group. So they'll be looking to clip off the kilometres. And that could be the first of the Czech runners. It is Mora Shuratrova. So looking for World Championship qualifying marks and Olympic qualifying marks. Her best 2:29.28, so she's on that ballpark. And pace 3. Again, the women have the luxury of having male pacemakers that can go a long way. Martin Joldik, so he's a 65-minute half marathon runner, running for obviously RunCzech as well. So given his pedigree, he'd be looking to go probably to 20 miles, I would have thought. So around about 35 kilometers as a good training run, as he might prepare for his marathon debut, or dropping back down to the half marathon distance. So runners negotiating the curbs, where you can see the bike lane on the left hand of your screen and the tram lines on the right. And look at that, a beautiful sight. You can see the different bar boats and the boats that go up and down the rivers, taking multiple tourists on their sightseeing days out. But most of the tourists here are course side, and many of the tourists are out on the course getting 26.2 miles or 42.2 kilometers of roadside viewing of these historic streets, soaking up the culture. They've been here for a few days, many of them will be here for a few days after, making sure they soak up. Might be a little bit sorer walking around if they do complete the full marathon. But they'll be well catered for. The local restaurants, the local tour operators know how much the runners bring to the city, and many of them come back time on time. Speaking to many of them at the expo, that this isn't their first Prague International Marathon. Many of them 5, 6, 7. Once they come here, or they've been here for the half marathon, that's it, they're hooked. They want to come back again and again. So 15.1 kilometers in the men, so they're shy of the third drink station, and just over, or just under 6 kilometers away from the halfway mark. And that'll be interesting to see the split. The organisers wanted that 62-minute mark to give them a chance of the course record. And at the moment we have our 2 pacers and 4 athletes in that lead group. But so Rono, Chebet is the pacer there, Sisalema, Kangaroo is the other athlete there, Justice Kangaroo, and looking very good at the moment. In the early stages still though, lots of running to go. Some locals joining on their bikes, just probably appreciating the speed that these runners are traveling at, inside 3 minutes per kilometer. So it's around about the 4:40 per mile mark. And there's a great visual. So they've gone through way over 10 miles, 18 kilometers, sorry, for the men. And it's 16 kilometers for the women, flashing on that that top left-hand side. Blue for the men, so 18 kilometers they're almost up to now, 52 minutes. So it's the women that are at 16.5 kilometers. So 3 kilometers, so just under 2 miles away from that halfway split. Alexandra Mutso there on the left of your screen, slightly hunched shoulders. The 2 paces, Stephen Kiprot looking superb at the front. Jeremiah Chezarek leading, Odessa, the leading female athlete in this elite women's race. 4th in Tokyo this year. So super strong bit of recovery here. And 2:20.13 there. And, 2nd in Riyadh last year as well. And that 4th place in Berlin. So she's becoming a super consistent competitor. And given the strength of Ethiopian distance running as well. So challenging or trying to make World Championship teams this year, the World Championships in Budapest. And then also in the eyes and minds of many of the elite runners, Paris 2024 as well is one that they're starting to cast their eyes upon. Given the pandemic and the delay of the previous Olympics, it's coming round fast. We usually get a bit of a breather, but given back-to-back World Championships, those World Championships in Oregon in the summer, and we're straight back at it again. Doesn't seem like 5 minutes ago. And we have another World Championships literally just round the corner. But that would be a beautiful location, Budapest. Again, a similar kind of feel to Prague. Lots of history on the streets, and they appreciate their races and their running. As do the people of the Czech Republic. The history of running, the history of sport here. Obviously, they gave us the great Emil Zatopek, 4-time Olympic champion. And that phenomenal treble in the 1952 Helsinki Olympics. So where he made his marathon debut, and not just made his debut, won the gold medal. And great story of him early on in the race. I think he was turning to the great British runner Jim Peters and asking if the pace was okay. And I think Peters took a little bit of offence to that, put his head down, and it didn't end so well for him, but it did for Emil. And lost his life back in 2020, but very much his spirit lives on. And I think his famous quote around the marathon sums it up. So if you want to win something, run a mile. If you want to experience a new life, run a marathon. And whether you're the elites, whether you're the masses, running a marathon is a different type of experience. And it's a journey that these runners will have gone on, not just today, but the training that goes into to master a marathon. And then the emotions you'll go through during a marathon, and the emotions that you'll have post-marathon as well. Or the feelings and the soreness and the dip in energy levels that you have post-marathon. But a huge achievement, and the times that the athletes are able to run, and the quality across multiple major city marathons now is absolutely phenomenal. Can't get away from shoe technology and the game changer that it's made in performances on the road and also performances in training, in recovery. But there is a real depth in marathon majors at the moment, and the big city marathons. The Prague City Marathon definitely in the top 10 of the marathon destinations of the elite, and also the masses that flock here. You can hear the support on the streets as well. They want to see fast times. Earlier, Kiptanuri's record back from 2010, as I said, set before the addition of shoe technology. And there you can see on the left-hand side, Team Prague. I think they're the first time that they've overtaken Team Rolik. So Team Prague, battle of the teams. So if you're watching this and you've got any of your friends and family out on the course on your course side, maybe watching it on your smartphone, give them a shout if they're in any of the teams that are chasing behind. Team Matoni are trying to get themselves off that 5th position as well. So lots to play for in battle of the teams. Just so many beautiful locations. And, people, some going around their normal business, going to church this morning, and many of them then will be out on the streets to cheer on our masses. Remember, RunCzech have such an important obligation, they say, to every runner. The experience of them, they want to bring home, all of them, they all want to have the same experience, whether it's the first crossing the line, whether it's the last crossing the line. Their strap line, all runners are beautiful. I think, and you see that everywhere you go, on different buildings, on their social media campaigns as well. And it is something they want to really promote. So, elite men, they're coming towards the halfway split, so that's going to be fascinating to see where we are in relation to the course record pace. And again, pacers, they are doing a great job. The coaches, the managers, that get them ready and here, ready to do that. There's the 20-kilometer sign. So the gap in the women's race now up to almost 50 seconds. Working as Odessa. So again, that halfway split also will be fascinating to see where she is in relation to that 220 mark, given that she is now solo with that pacemaker. There's the NM running crew. So there you can hear the shout side on the motorbike. Excellent pacemakers, and yes, they are doing an excellent job. Just getting a good shout, good amount of support. You can hear that rhythmical sounding on the concrete. The Adidas shoes of our leading pacers there. Sisalema just on that far side, just a little bit grey in his hair. He's the experienced marathon runner. Very quiet, unassuming man as well. And a delight to interview a number of times with that success at the London Marathon. And going back to that presentation where his agent Gianni steps onto the top spot. When he came back the next year, wasn't the success he wanted, 7th place, but the reception he got, and they had a private presentation with the Ethiopian community, and it was very well received. So it was 12 months or a little bit later than his original victory, but he was definitely celebrated. But he's going to look for a return to form. Didn't finish a couple of marathons recently, and I think that's going to make it a more important finish today. Didn't finish in Tokyo, but he does look very strong. See him in the cycle shorts on the right hand of the screen. He'll be wanting to be really competitive in this field. And again, 2 paces, 4 runners. You've got to think the podium, even coming to the halfway point, has to come from these 4 runners, unless something dramatically happens behind or to these runners that you can see on the screen. And interesting, Sisalema is the athlete that is it's a little bit tired early on, but he's looking the stronger of the runners, and you can see pace 1 just dropping off. That could be the work of the Ugandan Abel Chebet. The halfway point was probably his goal. And now that's been completed, we'll step off, and the really vital job now, Stephen Kiprot is the runner that is going to be in charge. Oh, and there you go. Not a great drink station. And Sisalema, I think, missed his. I don't think he got his drink. So, and they did say that was the only drink station on the left-hand side, and they were made aware of it, but it does happen sometimes that, again, they just switch off, looking at the halfway split, and then, well, a drink missed. I hope that doesn't affect Cisse later on into the race, but interesting. Almost at that drink station that he's decided now to pick it up. And we are on course record pace. We thought we were, but just confirmation of that. 62.37 through that halfway point. So even a 63 flat second half would give us that course record, that €40,000 bonus. Sisalema there, look at this. This is fascinating. He's decided that Cisse's decided just to have a word with the pacer and decided, let's move this on a bit. And, this is a bold move at the halfway point. A lot of running to go. There was strength in numbers in that depth in the pack behind. And whether they're going to now decide to chase, or whether there isn't a response. Philemon Rono, Vujiciso, Kangaroo are the athletes that have to decide now whether they're going to do something. They're going to have to decide whether Sisalema has gone too soon, whether it was the confusion at the drink station as well, which sometimes happens, and runners just lose a step, lose a few yards, and maybe sometimes it's better to go back for your drink and get that hydration, get that fuel on board as well. Sometimes they have a energy gel within, strapped to that drink as well. So again, absolutely vital that they take that fuel on board. Alexander Vujiciso is trying to make his way back, and he's someone, is the form athlete. If you're going to look at the form of previous, he's the runner that we expected to be in the hunt. And he's the runner that's made his way back very economically and looking very controlled as well. Still a look over his shoulder. So much of this course formulating the part of the half marathon course that many of their compatriots, many of them have run at previously. And I think that gives them definite strength and understanding in the nuances of the course. Every course, marathon-wise, is slightly different. And it's going to be interesting to see whether they can navigate and continue. And there's one of the outdoor swimming areas that leisurely Sunday morning swim. So again, doesn't matter whether you're running or swimming, being active. Great to see people being active on this this Sunday morning. And, fascinating to see this break, and the runners behind now trying to think about whether they need to put the big effort in now to close that gap. And, that's going to be a significant move. Susalema was the athlete to ask the questions. So remember, 11,000 entries, and they will be all running for their own reasons out there. Some of them their first time over the full marathon distance. Many of them running for charities, and many of them part of this battle of the teams. They got to select their own teams. And look at that, Team Rolik back into the lead. Team Prague have dropped back, and they got little benefits for choosing each of the teams. So and there's team leaders, team captains from different sports, para-sports. So from winter sports and local Czech heroes. So fascinating, the captains that are going to be driving the teams, and the social media that's gone into this. So it's been a real boost to the event, and generating also the support of sponsors and partners. Again, such a fundamental part of the race, and you know, the way the RunCzech organisation, and it is like a family. They want people to be part of the family, want people to recognise and want to see people being active. Yesterday, they had the children's fun runs and the family fun runs, and it was just great to see so many of the athletes, young athletes, enjoying themselves, and down by the expo, and being active on a Saturday. So thousands in that, and they're looking to build that again back to the pre-pandemic numbers. And that's something again that is a real fundamental to the RunCzech organisation. So this is the elite women, and they're through the halfway, and I tell you what, they are keeping on pace with the pace we were aiming for. So inside 69 minutes through that halfway, and much quieter drink station for Odessa there, taking a drink. You see the gel attached to her bottle. So we're on course record pace in the men's and the women's races. So Pacer doing a great job. Jeremiah Chezarek, he said he's a pro at this. Does this at multiple marathons, pacing for the elite women, and knows how to run comfortably 2:17, 2:18 pace. And working Odessa there, taking the gel on board, taking a drink on board. Because this is the vital part of the marathon, where getting that fuel on board, failure to do so could mean, yeah, you feel good for the next few miles and few kilometers, but if you hit that dreaded wall, if you do run out of energy, then it is game over. And it would be game over on course record pace as well. So Odessa chasing also that €40,000 bonus as well. So strong prize money for just crossing line first, but that's a real incentive, and then there are time bonuses around that as well. But there, great dual screen there, showing the action. The elite men in the top left-hand corner, the elite women in that top bottom right-hand corner. And we'll try and get an update on the gap as well in the elite women on that halfway split. And at the moment, we're operating in that 2:18 mark. So last year, Lokeles Cadets win 2:22.56. Norbert Keegan 2:07.54. So we're operating way inside both of those. Said last night at the technical meeting, they said in the 27th edition of this race, they have never had better conditions. I don't think they've ever had stronger fields. So the pressure, the expectation, and excitement last night in the technical meeting was that there's no given, but course records were definitely within reach. One thing you can't organise is the weather. You can put together the world's greatest field, but if the weather doesn't play ball, then it's almost impossible. And at the moment, the weather and the pacing seems absolutely on point at the moment. An aerial shot of the multiple bridges that go over this beautiful backdrop, this beautiful setting. But, there you go, the elite runners crossing back with the masses. They'll be giving them a cheer. They know what's to come in terms of course and how far that they've got to make their way up to that turnaround point just after the 22-kilometre mark. There you go, some rowers out there on a Sunday morning as well. So we've had swimmers, rowers, different people being active, but this is where the action is at. So the Golden City, and one of these is going to be the Golden Sun of the Prague International Marathon today, if they can take that top spot in the marathon. This could be the battle of the Czech Championships. So the first Czech runner gets invited to the Osaka Marathon, and Vita Palvista there, 2:15.35 lifetime best, and they're going to be battling it out. So not just for those national championship titles, that also means points as well towards trying to qualify for major championships as well, so important, but also the opportunity to race internationally as well. That's a sought-after victory or prize to go with the national championships title. So a lot of running to go. The different motorbikes on the course getting us some great coverage as they fly up and down the course, giving us a really good update. So remember, if you do want to check splits out, the RunCzech app, do download it. It also gives you signposting towards future events. If you're watching this internationally and you're thinking, do you know what, I want to get on the streets of Prague or some of the other RunCzech races, then it comes highly recommended. So put it on your bucket list of half marathons and marathons. Jiri Homolak is the 2:14 Czech athlete, and just a slight grimace, maybe even just a slight labour in terms of maybe carrying maybe a slight niggle. But, he'll be looking to try and work his way back to that podium. So still a lot of running to go in the Czech Republic National Championships here on the streets of Prague. We're getting some great support from the local supporters. Many of them will be known for racing in multiple races here. And again, that was something that, well, RunCzech did something pretty special during some of the return to sport. They they brought back racing and they used airport tarmacs as one of their locations. It was almost, those that are familiar with Park Run, almost bringing Park Run to different locations, and they literally took over the airport. So, and again, Carlo Cabaldo was going through that with me, and again talking so passionately about the importance of the return and getting everyone on board. And Philemon Rono is the athlete trying to chase. So in that NN strip, I know the NN crew up and down the world will be cheering at the screen. So their athletes so well supported, so well prepped. But at the moment, there is a gap, and it was around about 15 seconds at the last time check. And just getting the confirmation of that halfway split in the elite women's, and it was just outside the 69-minute mark, 69.02 for Odessa. Neutwagen was back by 2.5 minutes, 71.26. So the athlete that ran here 12 months ago, and she ran the half marathon here, and actually 71.50 a month ago. So she's gone through the halfway mark inside that, so that's impressive. Margit Ranganui back in third place, 71.33. There's a good group there. So Viola Kibawatt in that group as well, 71.33. Pamela Rotic, another one in there. So again, her personal best set last year, almost a year ago, 2:22.43 in Daegu. And DNF also in Toronto that year. So and then Rebecca Cheptegei, who was one of the early leaders in the women's race, now dropped back to 6th place and around about 30 seconds off the group in front of her. So she's gone through in 72.02. So big group occupying 2nd, 3rd, 4th and 5th, but the big gap. Workenesh is Odessa is the athlete that is rolling towards that course record at the moment, and even a time for the second half outside 70 minutes would see the course record. Lorna Chematai's record from 2019 could be obliterated. So team scores in the battle of the teams. Team Rolik still leading that. There's only been probably a slight change where Prague Airport overtook them for a split second, but back in the lead. And the shields being worn by our athletes representing towards their teams, and battling it out on the streets. And it is going to be, it looks like a new winner, a new champion. Norbert Keegan not able to go with this early pace, and so he will not be on the top spot of the podium again. Cecil Lemmer on the right hand of your screen. Alexandra Matiso is the athlete on the left that is, as I said, so strong. And 10 years ago was winning a world under-18 3,000 meter bronze medal. So it's come through the age groups, it's come through the ranks from the track to the road, and a good half marathon back in February, 59.17 over in Japan. He's got a beautiful running style. And, slight contrast to the strong, and he is a strong man. You don't go for multiple marathons. Cecil Lemmer on the right hand of the screen, but you can see just how both are just so economical. That's how efficient they are. And as a marathon runner, the more economical you can be, the faster speed you can travel for less energy output, is just so important. So they've gone through the latest drink station. That was 26.2. There are water stations on course as well after each of the drink stations. So if there is a disaster, then they can obviously get some hydration on. And Minnesota looks so controlled, looks absolutely almost as if he hasn't broken sweat yet. And I tell you what, again, can't highlight enough, Stephen Kiprot is doing a superb job. The 24-year-old Kenyan is doing something that he's used to, a quality pacemaker. And you need quality pacemakers. You want people that have the ability to put people in the position to break course records. They can't do it without the support of the pacemakers. And doing an absolutely sterling job so far, and being very economical. See Zalema there. He's looking controlled. Raced in Prague previously, second here in 2018, so has history here, and again, another podium finish. So he's just so experienced, and you know, that progression since his debut, fascinating to watch. And you know, maybe the last 12 months haven't quite gone to plan for him, but if anyone knows how to come back and put a really good marathon together. Justice Karango was the athlete that seems to have dropped off that. Training partners of Norbert Keegan, Ronald Correa. Oh, it looks like the pacemaker just getting it wrong, I think. And again, just a little stop by the elite women's pacemaker, but the drinks bottle has been located. You can see, let's see what happens. Oh yes, he decides to go for it at the last minute, and almost disaster. But doesn't seem to have affected Workanesh Odessa too much. She's a pro out there, and the fact that Jeremiah is doing such a great job, and she's so far inside course record pace at the moment that I don't think that will impact her too much in terms of the speed and in terms of the quality of running that we're seeing. So I think the most important thing that she got her drink on board. So the shouts from the motorbikes are of positive encouragement. They know records are on their way to being challenged. So Alexander, in that elite men's race, is a quality run as we go back to the masses, and going through one of the main squares. And it's a just look at that, such a calm morning here, and weather overcast, as we said at the beginning. Absolutely ideal conditions, only forecasted for a high of 14 degrees, 6 kilometers per hour winds is almost minimal, and you can see that. Look at that. I know we're in the middle of a square there by that coverage, but almost not a leaf being moved by any breeze. The biggest breeze is from the runners. They take their selfies, they've got their playlists on, they'll be getting their gels on, that many of them will be carrying themselves for the full duration. They don't have the luxury of the elite drink stations. There are some hydration stops and fuel stations on course as well, but many of them will have their own supplies with them. And I wonder what is on their playlist, whether it starts calm, whether any of them have got a little bit of Mozart on there. So a little bit of classical music on this Sunday morning here at the Prague International Marathon 2023. If you're joining us from around the world, welcome to this historic city here in the heart of the Czech Republic, the capital city, home to 1.3 million people, known for its culture, known for its beautiful historic buildings and fascinating streets. And said you would need months to visit just a small percentage of the beautiful bars and restaurants. And we were taken to one last night, and it was an absolute pleasure. And again, the hosts, they know how to look after the elite runners, and also those that are coming as guests as well. And multiple runners keep coming back here. They want to keep coming back. There's a great aerial shot. You can see the lead cars out there that have the race clocks above them. And there'll be, if the runners don't have their own watches on, being given them some good numbers and feedback. So, shouts course side. This is the battle of the Czech national title. So this is a sought-after title. And there are points, national ranking points on this as well. As you can see, battle of the teams, just 1 point. Look at that. So however they've calculated this, fascinating with the IWF scoring points, and every runner adding towards those. And look at that, 1 point, Team Prague from Team RunCzech. And it is fascinating out there. The presentation takes place later tonight of that battle of the teams. But who is going to take the overall title? Gabriela Cheska is trying to chase that down in third place. And 4,802 points. Team Mattoni still trying to claw their way back, but a lot of running to go. A lot of kilometers, a lot of miles. A lot can happen in this time. As the shots from the various helicopters that we have, again, to show the beautiful surroundings, the historic buildings, and the green nature of the city as well. Vulture River that runs now to the left-hand side. You can see that, and beautiful amount of cycle paths that allow that. But it's so there. So Alexander living in Japan since 2015. So his marathon debut, that 2:03 in Valencia, as the drink station being reached in the second fastest debut. If it wasn't for Kelvin Kipton, this would be the athlete we'd be talking about and being the next hot property in the marathon. So sub 58 minutes, a sub 2:04 marathon, and currently 10th in the marathon rankings, and the ease that he's eating up this course at the moment. Only the athlete that's ranked 2 in the world at the moment is alongside him with the pacer getting to 30 kilometers, and the organizer would be delighted with that, because we are, if you compare it to 12 months ago, we are almost 2 minutes up on the 30-kilometer split. So Norbert Keegan going through 12 months ago in 90:01, and you can see that just waiting for the official split to come through on the RunCzech app, but I think it's going to be way inside the 2-minute mark on 12 months ago. So we are operating at course record pace. That's low 2.5, and if they were to speed up, they could well knock on the door of going inside 2 hours and 5 minutes. And well, that would be phenomenal running. 30 kilometers there. So the capture in the left hand of the screen was maybe just a little bit generous. So maybe just around about 90 seconds inside the pace of 12 months ago. But yeah, that operator does give them around about the 2:05 low mark. So it is course record pace. And the fact that we got 2 of the strongest marathon runners of the current generation, it's Kenya versus Ethiopia. And Japan can claim a little bit of the strength of Alex, given that time, 180 days a year he spends on Japanese soil. And the races that he does in Japan, he's had 4th on that all-time list in the marathon, in the half marathon. And when you debut 2:03, it's so exciting to see the next marathon, but also there's a little bit of nervousness as well, being that running is all about consistency and backing up big performances. We wondered whether Kelvin Kipton would do that after his 2:01 in Valencia, and boy did he do that. Sub 60 minutes second half in London. And there, the backdrop, beautiful buildings that align the streets of Prague. And we are 30 kilometers into the race. So almost when you hit 32 kilometers, the race really begins, that 20-mile mark. And Steve Jones, famous British marathon runner, used to say it's a 20-mile run followed by a 10K race. And this could well be our 10K race coming up. So not far now from, if they were to look over to the right-hand side, they would see the start-finish area. But they won't be thinking about that at all. The eyes will be on the prize. That could well be Stephen Kitrop's race run. I think it is. And the pacemaker taking them to 30 kilometers. And what a great job that he did. You know, that's a fine bit of pacemaking. And you can see on the screen confirmation of that. And Justice Carango, the gap back 23 seconds. And Philemon Rono as well. So both of those are not out of the race at the moment. You have to say that anything could happen in the latter stages of the marathon. But I think given the strength of these two, given their pedigree, you know, it's going to be hard to look away from the winner coming from our duo on the screen. Siselema there, the Ethiopian, 32-year-old experience against the 26-year-old Kenyan. Mitaso, who's just so smooth, beautiful running style. And both of them just eating up the kilometers. And you could see maybe just the slight start of a grimace. I'm glad to see it almost, that you can get to 31 kilometers on course record pace. And you can hear them saying, you're on 2:05 pace. They know that. Team Prague, what have they just done over the last few kilometers? They've just taken a 60-point lead in the battle of the teams. Oh, that's superb, superb. So this gold IAAF ranked race, and I tell you what, it is rightly due in the golden city of Prague. And the locals and also tourists that are here, that some of them didn't even know the marathon was going on, and one of those was Britain's Jake Smith. So Jake, if you're out on the course cheering, out I think on a weekend retreat, I think to watch some football with his girlfriend Katie. So and I saw him message last night, sent him a message saying, you do know the Prague International Marathon's going on, and he does now. So wouldn't it be great, those British fans out there, to see Jake Smith back running a marathon in the future? Wouldn't it be great to see him here at the Prague International Marathon? So I know RunCzech, big supporters of European athletics, European athletes. So some of their series of races are about the promotion of European athletes, and European athletics have really supported that as well. And again, international runners, European runners, all get the same support from RunCzech. I'll tell you what, the RunCzech elite race coordinators and organisers, and Carlo himself will be absolutely ecstatic to see. I know they were so excited about the opportunity for course records, because each of the marathon, major city marathons, are in competition with each other to showcase and to show how fast their courses are. And I think the men's race is due a revision in time. And we know the half marathon has seen multiple world records and super fast times. But I think they would be delighted if the marathon, the record in the men's was updated. So the masses, some of them smiling, some of them running in duo, in partnership. Some have been making friends on their way round. And super cheers, super running, high-fiving, thumbs up. There'll be multiple cameras out on the course. Remember the Pulse TV system that gives the runner a chance to almost create their own little video of themselves and be followed. And there's an England football shirt in the centre. So good old classic back from the 1990s, the old Italia 90 days, and Gary Lineker and Paul Gascoigne and all of that. So as I said, a few with their headphones on, I wonder what the tunes are in their ears. There's, as you can hear in the background, some great noise by the local sound systems, local bands out on course as well. I think that's just one of the Italian runners. Many of them come across, and vice versa. Many of the Czech Republic runners go across to the RunCzech races that are in Italy. So again, welcome if you're joining us on this Sunday morning. Local time, it is just gone 10:35. You're joining us here at the 2023 Prague International Marathon, brought to you by RunCzech and their partners, their sponsors. It also features Battle of the Teams. You can see that if you're wondering what the scores are in the left hand of the screen. Each runner of the masses has selected a team to be part of. So every runner is part of a team, and their time will equate to points, and points mean prizes, and our elite runners as well. So 4 of them have been aligned to a team with 2 in reserve, being that some runners may not finish, and again, all scoring points. Various famous captains from different sports, winter sports, from Paralympic sports, and again, bringing this mass participation race, so everyone counts, everyone scores. Even the last person across the line later this afternoon here in Prague will score points towards the winning team, or the contributing towards the teams that are chasing. So everyone is valued, everyone is important here. So, and again, that strap line, all runners are beautiful, and all runners are definitely important here and are valued here at the Prague International Marathon. So, another drink station successfully navigated. Workinesh Odessa is, well, looking great at the moment, and Jeremiah Chezarek, the experienced pacemaker, has done an absolutely superb job. So, and the chase group behind, be interesting to see what that gap is, and we'll try also and get that that 25 kilometers for the women, and the gap is 3 minutes now. Wangari, Rotic, Kibawat, they're in a group together, so there's a battle for the podium. Odessa though, 21 hour 21:53, so through that 25 kilometers, so maintaining her pace and widening the gap between her. Wangari there, the athlete chasing Pamela Rotic as well. And Viola Kibawat, who I said, a 39-year-old Kenyan, fascinating background, longevity from her World Championship days going back to 2007. So not many sub-4 minute 1500 meter runners navigate their way up to the full marathon distance. And the translation from track to road is not always an easy one. Sifan Hassan obviously did it very successfully in London. The athlete from the Netherlands who, well, if you did watch that race in London, was dramatic, stretching after an hour, looking as if she, you know, race was run. Even the commentator, Steve Cram, bless him, thought that her race was done, and it was in relation to stood around the team of managements as well, that there was no way back, especially when the gap then went to about 30 seconds, but she worked her way back, the magic of the marathon, and ended up coming out on top. So the speed played into her hands. Will Kibawat's speed play into her hands to get onto the podium at the age of 39? But this is our elite woman leader, Cezarek the pacer. And I tell you what, this is a great bit of running. And she's over 30 kilometers now. So we'll wait for that update on the 30 kilometer split. But I mean, the pacemaker just directing, and they are picking up men en route as well. I think that is the quality of running out there. And looking at the split, Takaraku, the Japanese athlete, still with Evans. Yogo, the pacemaker. They're back probably in around about 6th place. Quebec in that group as well, so another 30 seconds back. And between that, it's 2 minutes to Philemon Rono. Kangaroo there also alongside Rono, but they're around about 30 seconds behind this two. And they are looking fantastic. 35 kilometers is the next split. One of the few kind of inclines that we have on the course here. And they'll be navigating that now as they've come back the furthest point of the northern part of the course. Just safely navigating over the tram lines and the roadwork systems that they've had to go through. They will be back onto the river shortly, and the fast cycle path that runs adjacent to that. And look at that, the workers get a best view. Look at that, where they are. So we're working on some of the trains above the course. But it is a two-man race right now here at the Prague International Marathon 2023, brought to you by RunCzech. And at the moment we're operating on course record pace. Eliud Kiptanui's course record from 2010 is very, very under threat. 2:05.39, and at the moment operating around about the low 2:05 mark. But that was with the pacemaker, so it's going to be interesting to see where we are with the pacemaker having exited. Kiprot did a great job, Stephen Kiprot. But once pacemakers drop out, you can sometimes see a slowing of the pace, and especially when two runners are almost shoulder to shoulder. Almost can become more of a tactical affair. There's one of the pacers on the side of the course, just working out where he needs to go to get picked up by the sweep vehicles. But Odessa, the lead female, looking superb on the course. So looking light on her feet, almost no stress. And even when the pacemaker got slightly in the way at the drink station, no sign of emotions, no sign of worry, tension. And maintaining the pace, metronomically out there, and operating in a, well, course record pace at the moment, and could be heading towards a 2:18 mark. And again, that would make the organisers super happy. And the men, looks as if their last 5 kilometres was approximately 14:49, so they are maintaining that sub 3 minutes per kilometre. So they are around about that 2:58 per kilometre. So even without the pacemaker, they've been put in such a good place. But so they're taking his drink with ease. Sisalema doing exactly the same. So, and again, as we come into the business end, the last 7 kilometres, getting that drink on board, absolutely vital for them. And just one more drink station to go, just before the 40-kilometre mark. See a cleaning of the street happens already, and by later this afternoon, especially by this evening into tomorrow, it'll be evident that won't be evident, sorry, that there was a marathon here, other than the banners, such as the clean-up operation after that. And you can see the gap has grown, 47 seconds now. So the chasers behind Philemon Rono, Jessica Krangro, they are just dropping off kilometre after kilometre Both of them still running inside 2.6 pace at the moment, so they're not slowing too much. It's just these two are just maintaining a brutal pace, the pace that the organisers wanted. They want to see a 2:04 clock in. So this is the trio behind that we mentioned earlier that are battling it out. So 3 goes into 2 for the podium. Margit is in there, Pamela, Viola. Hungary, RunCzech and Kibrok are the athletes there that are in close proximity. I actually dropped down now, so it's only 2 there. See Viola there on the left hand of the screen. So fascinating, and it looks like our one of our paces is still there as well. And again, is the luxury of having a pacer that can go further, and that's exactly what we're seeing on the screen right now. Jeremiah Jezerek, an accomplished runner in his own right, and not an easy feat to maintain and pace from the front, from the beginning. And obviously in terms of comparison marathon times, there are certain marathons that are women-only marathon races, and obviously there are races that are combined and different records for each. But in terms of qualifying for national championship, qualifying for major championships, is they count the same. And obviously in terms of the course record, that will be just as important to maintain and have a male pacemaker to get them towards that. So shout from the side there, 3:02. So that does mean the pace has dropped slightly. That is a slightly more testing part of the course when they've gone through that 35-kilometer mark. So they've got to come back now, dropping down west now down the course. And they will know this familiar. This is where they were after 9 kilometers. So they know exactly where they are in relation to the course. They've been on these this part of the streets before. Cisalem has been here before himself. So having finished runner-up here previously, and wouldn't he love to go one better? And he is an accomplished finisher in relation to speed as well. So great bit of leg turnover. But is that just a slight gap now? Is that the question being asked? But so is, look at that, it's a great shot side on. You can see the 2 Adidas athletes there just almost caressing the concrete. Almost looks as if they are on the track, the level of efficiency that they have. And this could be our first of our female Czech athletes, again vying for those national medals, those qualification points, and also the opportunity to go to Osaka. And I think also RunCzech Anchorage race over in Turkey. That half marathon takes place on the weekend of the 7th and 8th of October. They've invited also the top Czech finishers as well to that race. But is that a significant grimace and just a little hold of the side there from Odessa there? So hopefully that's not a stitch at this part of the race, having gone so far at this phenomenal pace. And the gap is growing further, 3 minutes and 16 seconds now. So continuing to increase the lead. So 1:38.35, and that gap has grown again, and it is Kibrok who is with the pacer, and it was Pamela RunCzech that had dropped off. Rangari is the other athlete alongside Viola Kibrok. And Mangari and Kibrot, 3 minutes. You've got to think that's a big gap to make up. But the only thing now is the fact that Workinish Odessa was holding us side, but hopefully it's just a side stitch for a few kilometres. So there's someone in a Snow White outfit. You will see a few people in fancy dress as the masses come through the finishing line later this afternoon. It looks like guests from Taiwan as well. 19% of the field made up of international tourists, and has been as high as into the 30%. And that is definitely a hangover from the COVID period that we had. And I know, again, that is one thing the organisers, oh, she's holding an apple. That's a nice touch there in terms of the story of Snow White. But I tell you what, this is the story of the Prague International Marathon, and this is the story of Alexandra Mutso, one of the hottest properties in world marathon running. And look at that, I didn't see a bead of sweat on his face. And I tell you what, I said he's been living and training in Japan since 2015. The culture of Japan and marathon running, and they live and breathe marathon running. And so many of them out on the course now. Got 5 of their very best. The link to the Osaka Marathon, I know, is very, very strong, and many of the delegates and organisers here, and I tell you what, they'll be delighted to see one of the athletes that they've taken to their hearts. And his half marathon time inside 58 minutes, his marathon debut inside 2:04, and now there is daylight between himself and Cisse Lemmer. And Cisse Lemmer, one of the very best marathon runners in the world. So podiums in so many. He's a 2:03 marathon runner at best, just 7 seconds slower than Alexandra's best. So Cisse's time back in Berlin 2019. And well, Team Prague will be shouting on for Cisse Lemmer because he'll be scoring points for them, but they are currently leading at the moment, so you can see that on the left-hand side. If you're new to this, then this is Battle of the Teams. So 5 teams, and Team Matoni have got off the bottom now. Yes, they've been fighting for that. Is there a late resurgence? That's the thing with a marathon. So only takes a resurgence in runners in the last few kilometres, the second half of the marathon. And those team points, every runner selected a team to be part of. It represented a partner, and they got some benefits from being part of that. And as I say, that Team Matoni just go back to 5th place. But it is Team Prague currently leading from Team Rolik. And but out on the streets of Prague, the leader in this elite men's race that has been fascinating from the gun being fired by Petr Pavel, the president of the Czech Republic. And that was just over an hour and 53 minutes ago. And the running that has taken place in the meantime has been nothing short than world-class. It was a world-class field, and at the technical briefing they said there is no excuses. The weather is perfect tomorrow. We have world-class paces, a world-class field, and there on the top left-hand side we have the men's course record under threat, and on the main screen now the women's course record is under threat as well. Jeremiah Cesarek, the elite women's pacer, doing a great job. Workinish Odessa there. And she is Team Matoni, and she'll be giving those great points. Javi Pavarat, the captain, the Czech Olympic water slalom champion, will be out there somewhere and adding points and cheering on the runners. Also Philemon Rono, another one of the team runners that will be adding points, but adding world ranking points if she does cross the line in 1st place and in a super fast time as well. And again, be interesting to see. It is getting closer now to Budapest and those World Championships, so it might not be on the radar for these runners completing today's marathon, but could well put them in their National Federation's Olympic considerations. And that could be the battle, one of our Czech runners as well, trying to close in on a Czech national medal as well. So a beautiful mix in Prague of new kind of buildings and infrastructure around, as well as the historic. And there's the shout. I can hear them shouting that you've got a chance at 2:04. So, and as we come right now into the absolute business end of things now. So we are inside 2 miles of running. And the decisive break has been made. And they will know where they are now, very close to the Elite Runners Hotel. They were out running yesterday on this very stretch of road, just getting a feel for that, so they know exactly where they are in relation to the course. And Alex Mudaso is there, and I tell you what, he's leading by example. And this would be, well, the biggest win of his career. The 26-year-old Kenyan, who is an absolute talent. And look at that, that gap has really grown between him and Siselema. Barring disaster, you have to say that it's a done deal now. You can just see, maybe for the first time, a bit of pain, almost a little bit of self-talk there. Little look at his watch, hopefully confirming to Alexander that he is on course record pace. And that's the first of our Czech runners. Vit Polvista there, that is, he's running at a really good pace as well, the 2:15.35 athlete. And at the moment, heading, I think, towards a personal best. So through the, I think it was 30 kilometers in 1:38.36. So back in 21st place in the on the road. And he'll be delighted at the moment, be getting some great support. Just a little rock of the shoulders, rock of the head. And he's coming up to almost 2 hours of running as well. So again, try and get an update on the 40-kilometer split. Let's see where our men are into the absolute business end now. There, 40 kilometers coming up on the left hand of the screen. So slight rise up from one of the underpasses there. That'll take a little bit of sting out of the legs. Just any undulation in the latter stages of a marathon. But if you know you're on your way to a course record, if you're on your way towards a major city marathon victory, those inclines will be a little easier to get over. If you're struggling and the wheels have come off of the chasers behind, then they're going to seem more like mountains than little inclines. So big shouts now. And I know the organisers are wanting this course record to go. Are we going to see a sub 2:05 clocking? We'll have the last couple of kilometres that were just outside 2:03, but whether he's got back inside that, Mudaso is looking a little bit more laboured, but maybe just a slight pickup. There's almost a beat to the side. There's almost just a bit of inspiration to find a little bit more energy, and you can almost see that little bit of a pickup. He's going to see almost 2 hours on the race clock of the lead car in front. And again, just confirmation that the hard running has been done. And there or thereabouts, the last mile. So this will be something covering anything around the 160 to 200 kilometers per week, week on, week out. So we're on testing terrain, on the track, on the road, on the treadmill, in testing. And 1 mile to go. Inside 2 kilometers will be a very welcome sign. And again, they had confirmation in the technical meeting that once they get into the last kilometer, that almost every 100 and 200 meters is signpost to them to almost motivate them to pick up the pace. So a great aerial shot that we've been spoilt with over today's coverage. Great job by those that have been in charge of the pictures. I'm sure you've enjoyed it thus far at home, wherever you are around the world, and with the dual screens as well. Hopefully you've given some really good coverage of the elite women's, and there you go, dual screen almost on cue. And as I said, we're heading towards men's and women's course records. So much faster than 12 months ago. Beautiful weather conditions, world-class pacing, world-class runners, and both of them with personal bests inside the course records, and they are currently delivering that. And listen to that, love the cheers. If you ever get a chance to come here, one thing you will definitely take away is the enthusiasm for running, the enthusiasm for the event. And the trees that have been planted, you can see that. The aim is to plant trees every year, so there is enough trees to formulate as much of the course as possible. Maybe not as great for the overhead visuals, and there you go. But I tell you what, for the city, for the feeling of oxygen in a major city, and just any city with more trees and parks and greenery is a better city. So there you go. The clapping being asked for course side. Rancasa Square is soon to await our runners. And our leader, Alexander Mutiso, the 26-year-old Kenyan, 2:02 on the race clock. He's inside the last kilometre. He's been there from the very beginning, metronomic from the beginning. The pacemakers, well, that was Abel Chebet, Elias Kemboy, and Stephen Kiprot that set them on their way. But this man is bringing it home. The streets are alive here in Prague. And look out, look at that race clock. The course record, 2:05.39. Elu Kiptanui from 2010. It survived 13 years, survived the introduction of super shoes, but it hasn't survived the introduction of this super marathon runner. Home formerly Prague of Mozart. I tell you what, a new man making some world-class music in the world of running. And this is someone that I think possibly one of the few men you could say could challenge the emergence of Kelvin Kipton. And the noise as we come into the latter stages of the Prague International Marathon. So 2:03.45 on the race clock, one of the final turns here on this iconic, historic course, the 27th edition of the Prague International Marathon. The music is loud, the crowd is barrier side. They're going to welcome home in a new course record, a new champion, the new star of marathon running. The 26-year-old Kenyan, he's going to be outside his lifetime best, set in Valencia at 2:03.29. But I tell you what, this is going to be the biggest victory of his career. And it's going to signpost him to many of the major marathons, and also a potential challenging for the top spot on the International Championship Marathon calendar as well. Into the home straight. Can we get inside 2:05? I think he's going to be just outside that. It's going to be very, very close. But he's going to take the €40,000 bonus for a course record. Alexander Mutiso of Kenya is going to be the champion of the Prague International Marathon for 2023. And it's a new course record, and he looks absolutely ecstatic. Look at that. That was a hard bit of running over the last few kilometers. A champion and a new course record holder, just shy of that 2:05 mark. Cissé Lema is going to be just outside, I think, the course record, but it's going to be, I think, the third fastest time ever by one of the most consistent runners on the marathon circuit, one of the nicest guys on the marathon circuit as well. Philemon Rono chasing down the NN runner. He's going to be on the podium. And look at that, turn back to see it's a Kenya 1, Ethiopia runner-up spot. Cissé Lema there, you can see the pain of the last 2 kilometers. And he might just slip outside, I think, maybe the Tyler Galen Rupp as well from a couple of years ago. But he cements the same position he took back, I think it was back in 2018. So second in Prague previously, and second, another podium finish for Cissé Lema. Almost should nickname him Mr. Consistent. Philemon Rono has battled through the later stages. He's going to be inside 2:07, outside his lifetime best, but a podium finish nonetheless. And that's it. I love seeing that. Love seeing a bit of emotion. Third place. And Philemon Rono there is delighted he'll be on the third spot on the podium. The NM runner, super strong finish. Canarogo there is going to take fourth place, not to be on the podium this time around. But a strong bit of running. But you can see the fatigue of the marathon when it has really started to test the legs and test the hydration systems of the body, the refueling systems of the body. And I think that's a lifetime best by 5 minutes as well, so a big bit of running there. And that looked hard for Justice there. So podium finishes in Rome, in Belfont, Paris, Krems. So pacemaker in Seoul Marathon to 30 kilometers. And today, Justice a finisher, and not just a finisher, fourth place finisher. Takarui there, the first of the Japan athletes who's run really well to come through for 5th place. Keep an eye on the clock. He's, I think, going to be just outside his lifetime best, but again, very good finish in this, well, marathon with super depth as well, but a nice tradition, a nice link to Japanese athletics and Japanese marathon running. And Alexandra, the winner, don't have to look too far to see the Japanese connection there. Spends 180 days of the year in Japan, living and breathing the Japanese marathon culture, and coming out on top today. And you can tell how hard this is. He's going to be inside 2:10. And big bit of running. Great cheers from the crowd on the side. India finishing. Takao Adia. So, and I think, yes, it is a lifetime best. I think he came in as the slowest Japanese runner in the elite field from Osaka, and he's now run a new lifetime best, I think, by 23 seconds. So, and inside the last 2 miles now. So we might have just slipped outside that. And this is the American athlete, Abesia Simbasa, making his marathon debut. And a good marathon debut, just behind the two Japanese athletes who were battling. I think that was Yuma Hattori just in front of the American athlete who's ran 60:30 for the half marathon in Valencia. Looked after by John Hickey, and that's a solid 2:10 debut there. So good finishing, and all these runners around about the top 10. And that was Quebec crossing the line just outside his best.
Maratonu. Alexander, how difficult was the race for you?
Oh, thank you. I'm happy for running course record today. So I had prepared for it, and I thank God that I have met my target. Thank you.
You attacked at the 35th kilometer, so was it difficult? The last kilometers you ran alone and you were attacking track record.
Yes, last kilometer I felt hardness, but I tried my best to push until I met the course record, so I'm happy because of that.
Thank you so much, congratulations.
Thank you.
And there's the finishing home straight. Nice to hear from the very humble, talented athlete and the champion of the Prague International Marathon for 2023. And he's into the history books, not just as the champion, but as the new course record holder. And he'll be sought after now for a return here in 12 months' time, but also to other marathon majors. And also whether he does fancy those World Championships in Budapest. Now, the last part of the elite women's race. They're into the business end, as is, I think, our champion from the Czech Republic. Actually, no, I think this is one of our Canadian runners. So good running. So it's been a good battle out there. A couple of good Canadian runners. Could be Presnia there. Both himself and Kent, both with the number 5 on their shields. 2:13.07. Well done. That is Justin Kent. So, and that's a new lifetime best, improving his best from Ottawa. So he'd be delighted with that. Even a few seconds, the hard work that goes into training for a marathon. So 22nd lifetime best there for Justin Kent, and yeah, that hard work. So bursting onto the running scene, Justin, from winning the Vancouver Sun Run. That's a huge run, and the first local to win it since 1992. So he's competed for Canada cross country on the track as well, and aspirations to compete in the Olympics as well. But he's going to have to find a few minutes quicker. Cam Levens, who's leading the way in the Canadian distance running at the moment in the marathon scene with his new Canadian record, but leading the scene here in the elite women's race, and where she's been from the very beginning, working there. Sedessa, can she get towards that course record? The halfway split 69 flat was room to wiggle within, but a few tired kilometers and maybe just a slight slowing of the pace. And 1:55.44 through the last time check. That gave us still a 3-minute gap. Margaret Rangiri behind that, and still Viola Kibawat, the two athletes that are very close together, locked in for that podium. But Jeremiah Chezarek has done an absolutely great job. And I I wonder when his race will be run, whether he'll go right through the finishing line or just peel off before. But even the fatigue in RunCzech's legs, she's done very well to hold it together. And very much a strong bit of running. But I think she's going to be outside her lifetime best. That was set in Berlin last year. That was 2:18.51. But she's going to be very close to that. Just trying to get the time checks. Obviously, the rolling distance marker in the left-hand side can be just slightly off. It won't be till she comes in that last kilometres, but we think she's on the 2:19 mark still. So that would be brilliant running. Still our elite men come down towards that finishing line. Christiansen, that's the Polish athlete. Zawodzki, so look at the pain, you can see it etched on his face. Almost looks like he's been in a boxing match, the level of fatigue. And he's going to be outside his lifetime best. It's always a disappointment, I know, for runners that if you're a 2:10 or faster runner, you know you're on the brink of, you can almost touch a World Championships or Olympics. And when it doesn't quite go to plan, it's just tough. We've got to go back to the drawing board, speak to the coaches, speak to the team. And another one of our Japanese runners out there that might need to as well. Jujuno, I think, who's 2:9 best. And again, it might be just a slight back to the drawing board. Maybe got training wrong, recovery since the last marathon. Maybe the hydration, refueling on board. Maybe even a muscle niggle en route. But great experience. I think every marathon runner will agree you learn something slightly different from every marathon. No marathon is ever the same as the last. And even though not quite the performance he will have wanted, but still a smile. Shinzo crossing the line there. And there's one of our runners from the mass field behind. And that's a really decent bit of running, not in the elite field, and finishing just on the coattails of some of our elite runners. That's testament to the runner wearing 628. And I wonder whether he's one of the local Czech runners. We'll get confirmation of that, but Vita Palvista, I think that is him on the screen now, that could be coming towards the title, the national title of the Czech Republic. He's a strong runner, and he's going to take the title, and comes with a few rewards as well of race opportunities. So RunCzech in Anchorage in Turkey have offered a spot, as well as the Osaka Marathon in Japan. So a tap of the chest. 628, not coming up on my feed here. That could be the interesting to see whether that was the first Czech athlete. It's not come up on my list, but I think that is to Vit Palista. Yes, so he's the national champion, I think, and you can see the pain, the fatigue, and just outside 2:19 for the athlete that has a 2:15 lifetime best. So the clock has ticked away, and I think we're going to be maybe just outside the course record. I think, yes, we have. We did think the last 5 kilometers had just slowed, the fatigue had just got to RunCzech, and that course record has just slipped away. Lorma Chematai's 2:19.46 from 2019 is going to survive, but I tell you what, a valiant effort, going through in 69 minutes flat through the first half, and she's just going to fall just a fraction shy of that.
Ladies and gentlemen, we welcome the king of Prague International Marathon 2023, the best Czech man, and now the time for the green has come.
So 2:20:20 on the race clock. There we go. So Jeremiah Cezarek takes a step to the side. There could be a more Pefes coming across the line there. But here is our champion, Workanesh Odessa. She's been there from the beginning. And I tell you what, that's a dominant display by the 31-year-old Ethiopian. And she is the Prague International Champion for 2023. And that's the biggest win of her career. 4th in Tokyo previously, 2nd in Riyadh, 4th in Berlin, but 1st in Prague. There will be a slight disappointment. The women's course record didn't go, but there was a big effort towards that. You can see the points now for finishers going onto the board. Prague Airport leading the battle of the teams. And again, the Prague crowd make noise for every one of our runners. Another one of our Czech runners coming down towards the finish line. 100 meters to go. The sprint is on. The fatigue is there. And the RunCzech organisation that sees so many runners registered. I think it's almost 100,000 runners registered for the season, and many people active in their events and nationality. So so many people internationally that take part, and from countries up and down Europe and the world, from Germany, Slovakia, the UK, France, Poland, Italy, Spain, the US, Ukraine, Denmark, and so many pro athletes make their way. But it wouldn't be possible without the huge team of volunteers. So over the season, I think it's over 6,000 volunteers that take part in making sure the races take place. Mutasu's victory there, new course record. Skubina, Czech will get some great points. And the list going down there, a couple of the American athletes, Quebec just losing out to Simbasa there for the battle of the first Americans home. It was Carl Avery there, the Morpeth athlete, 2:20:29, closing out in 17th place for the UK. And this is our 2nd place female, I think, unless we've missed her coming across the line. And, the cheers from the crowd. Rangarui there, it is Margaret Rangarui, so a strong run by her. So the Commonwealth silver medalist is going to be the runner-up today in the Prague International Marathon, and it's going to be a massive lifetime best. 2:28. He said the Birmingham course was tough 12 months ago. Just under 12 months ago, but I tell you what, Margaret is going to absolutely smash her lifetime best. She's going to be inside 2:24. That's going to be over 4 minutes off her best. And for someone that's been so good on so many distances, again, that looked hard, a hard bit of running, but she'll be absolutely delighted. Viola Kibiwak, the 39-year-old Kenyan, running for the NN team. Again, 2 third places today for the NN running team. Philemon Rono, her teammate, 3rd in the men's race. And Viola, what a great bit of running. What longevity. And I tell you what, she's going to be very close to her lifetime best. 2:25:32 is her lifetime best. I think she's going to be, yes, she's going to be inside 2:25 for the first time. Going back to 2007 when she was 5th in the World Championships over 1,500 meters. What range? So 3:59, 500 meters, 8:24 3K, 14:29 for 5K, 70:15 for a half marathon, and now 2:24 for the marathon. And look at that, that's huge delight, huge smiles. And the athletes behind, so it's a Kenyan second and third to complete the podium. I'm sure the NN team will be absolutely delighted to have 2 podiums from their hard-working team behind the scenes, and a few of their team here this weekend in Prague. So still athletes coming down towards the line, but they will be for many, many hours to go. And look at that, the points are changing. Skubina, who will welcome the points of the winner, Mutiso, today. And, the points going into the scoring system. Team Matoni was working at Odessa, the winner of the women's race. And then looking down, you had the points are going to be equated. Team Skupina through Wangari and Viola Kibwa, Team Prague Airport points. Langtuan there, I think, is the next runner coming into sight. So a finisher 12 months ago. And again, a very good finish outside the podium. But still a very good time, not quite a lifetime best. But nonetheless, a strong bit of running. So wait to see whether Rebecca Cheptegei is still out there, the Ugandan, who was one of the early leaders, but did drop off that that brutal early pace that even working at Odessa couldn't maintain. This could be Pamela Rotic, actually, sorry, yes, coming down towards the finish. It is Pamela Rotic, another Adidas athlete that is going to come down, completing the Prague International Marathon. It is going to be outside her lifetime best, but add some good points to Team Skupina. And at the moment leading, and they're going to take even more points. So battle of the teams is on. And who is going to be the first Czech female athlete home? So I think this is her right now, Mora Sturatova, I think. Unless that has changed, it might have changed. So I think that could well be Julian Melody. Lankaran there, checking her watch, wearing 2. That will be Team Prague with the shield on the front. If you're joining us for the latter stages, you've missed some absolutely phenomenal finishes, but there's still a little bit of action to come here at the Prague International Marathon 2023. So we had Alexandra Mudiso crossing the line in a new course record. And working at Odessa, also taking the title, but just outside the course record in the women's race.
Ladies and gentlemen, the Prague International Marathon 2023, the elite men category award ceremony is ready.
So good battle to the line, getting support, trying to get inside that 2:29 mark, going to be just outside that. But I think that could be a personal best there for the French athlete. It was Julien Melody, I thought it was. 2:31.39 in Seville last year, so should be absolutely delighted with that. You could see the pain. Oh.
Finishing in the 3rd place was Philemon Rono, Kenya.
As we turn our attention to the live presentation of the elite men.
A vítězství bere Alexandr Mutiso, Kenya. Přichází Libor Varhaník, předseda Českého atletického svazu, Libor Varhaník, the president of Czech Athletic Federation, is the one who will be handing over the medals to the best man of Prague International Marathon of the season 2023. Gratuluje trojici nejlepších mužů, ten nejrychlejší v cíli za 2:05:09. Speciální poháry ze sklářské dílny a je to Last Win Editions předává Karlo Capalbo, ředitel organizačního týmu, který se postaral o nejenom dnešní závod, ale i další souboje v rámci celé série RunCzech.
And this, I think, is Mora Shuratova. She's going to be outside her lifetime best, so it's not going to be quite the time she wanted, but I think it's going to be the national title that she came here for. Again, a little look of the watch, and looks like it's going to be around about the time of 2:31. I think we're going to hear the national anthem of Kenya in the background. And they're recognising the men's winner, Alexander Mudiso, taking the title, the Kenyan anthem playing in the background, and the title for the Czech Republic women, I think there, Maria Shuratova. That looked tough. That looked a tough run. Just a few minutes outside her lifetime best. Carlo Cabaldo there making the presentation, the president of RunCzech. Very proud man of the whole RunCzech profile of races. The smile there, Rono on the right hand side. Cizilema there, he's got time for a smile. Alexandra, the champion, in the centre. That's three happy men after a quality battle out on the streets of Prague. But Carlo will be absolutely delighted with the course record. And there, the finish of Philemon Rono there to take the third place and complete the podium here at the Prague International Marathon 2023. Don't forget, Battle of the Teams is continuing. All of our runners contributing towards those team scores. The final scores won't be known until the last runner crosses the line. Cizilema there, Mr. Consistent, second previously here, second again. Put up a brave fight and taking second place, but the champion, a dominant display, a new course record, the brilliant up-and-coming talent, a stamp on his authority in the major marathons now. Alexander Mudiso, the 26-year-old Kenyan, spends a lot of his time in Japan, where they love marathon running. We love marathon running here in Prague, and he is the new Prague International Marathon record holder and the champion, taking the tape just outside the 2:05 mark, but he will be ecstatic with that, as will be the RunCzech organisers, on what has been a busy day so far for the elites, but the masses, and still we have the medals, I think, in the Czech Championships as well. It could be Barbara Makarova there, I think, who could be coming towards a silver medal, so that will be a great run for her. So she's got a 2:45 lifetime best, so I think she's going to absolutely obliterate that. So running for Team General Cheska there, so great points for them. And look at that, she's afforded herself a smile, I think because Barbara has realised that she's on for something of a big lifetime best. So she ran here 12 months ago, 2:45, and well, she's going to be, I think, the best part of 10 minutes inside that, but there is a battle behind, and another one of the athletes trying to finish strongly, and look at this. A moment to savour, a performance to savour as well. Barbara Makarova there, who's going to take, I think, by my reckoning, the silver medal in the Czech Championships. And she is, and it is going to be a 10-minute plus personal best. You don't get many of those in your lifetime. And she looks absolutely delighted, as well as a little bit fatigued as well, but totally expected, given the 42.2 kilometers that have been covered and the brutal nature of the marathon. But if you haven't run a marathon, you're looking for an international marathon to take part in, then look no further than the 2024 Prague International Marathon. Get onto RunCzech, get your entry in early. But if you do fancy a half marathon, then obviously the half marathon is a month before that. But check out the huge list of great races. The program starts in Italy, in Napoli, in February each year. So do check it out, and do get involved. There is something for everyone. Yesterday, the family fun run as well. So if you are bringing your family over, there is something for everyone to take part in and be part of the event, and go and experience the great things that happen in the expo, and the people talking about running, those that love running, and those that enjoy passing on the enjoyment of running as well. So it's a real running city that is really taken running and sport to its heart. And RunCzech do such a great job with that. And there you go, the Prague International Marathon 2023 elite women's results there. Workinash Odessa 2:20.42, just outside the course record, inside a minute outside that. And there, just confirmation of the 1-2 in the Czech National Championships. So great finish there. Verila Kibrok taking the third place and a new lifetime best for the NN runner. Fantastic longevity and another podium, and also a superb performance by the Kenyan athlete that in marathon terms is going from strength to strength, leaving behind her track days and turning effectively to the road, and she was delighted with that runner-up spot. The chase, Margaret Wangari, a brilliant bit of running by the Kenyan athlete that, well, set a lifetime best in Birmingham, and she's obliterated that by over 4 minutes. Second place there in the Commonwealth Games, second place in the Prague International Marathon. And I think there's even more to come from the Kenyan athlete. And then the champion, a dominant display. Jeremiah Chesarek did a great job of pacing, but she brought it home just outside the course record. 2:20.42, Workinash Odessa, the Ethiopian athlete. But that's the biggest win of her career here at the Prague International Marathon. And again, her consistency in her major marathons is going to make her a sought-after athlete for future marathons. We'd love to see her back in Prague in 12 months. So I think it's going to be the presentation now for the elite women. There, the medals being set. Carlo Cavallo, I think, is ready to make the presentations to Verila, Margaret and Workinash. And they are loved here, that's for certain.
Silver medal and Margaret Wangari, Kenya. A královnou pražského mezinárodního maratonu pro rok 2023 and the queen of Prague International Marathon season 2023 is Workinash Odessa, Ethiopia.
And the champion getting the applause she deserves. It is a smile from the three all round. absolutely delighted with their performances. The recovery process will start now, and they'll then be turning their sights to their next set of races, whether that's under distance or whether that is going again over the marathon distance. But first, they get to enjoy the moment now, and we will shortly, I think, be hearing the Ethiopian national anthem as well for our champion, Odessa. And their confirmation on the screen of those results of our top three. And there is Carlo presenting the trophies to our top three. And again, big smiles. As I said, I can't give this guy enough credit for the stories that they obviously spoke. I mean, anyone involved in sport during the pandemic, how tough it was to come back from those bleak days, and not just the beginning, but many people struggled in that January 2021 when we thought we were coming out of the pandemic, we went back in or back into restrictions, and what he did and working with different partners, the IWF, European Athletics, Adidas, and so many other supporters of the RunCzech team. The president setting them on their way earlier today. The elites, the masses. It's been a superb day so far in Prague. Still so many miles and kilometers to be run by our runners out there. Still many points to be won in the battle of the teams. But the battle of the elites came down to two quality runners. Alexandra Mutiso and the superb Workenes Odessa. They battled from start to end, and our masses will be doing the same. Everyone covers the same marathon distance. Such a great leveler. The marathon provides an opportunity to bring communities together, showcase an active lifestyle, and also showcase what is a beautiful city here in Prague. As Emil Zatopek said, if you want to win something, run a mile. If you want to experience a new life, run a marathon. And I don't think anyone could have put running a marathon here in Prague with any finer words than the greatest Czech son of all time, the great Emil Zatopek. Workenes Odessa, that moment will live long in her mind. The high fives will continue as the day does. Many more medals to be handed out to the thousands that are still on the streets in Prague. So what a morning as we head into this afternoon, and we finish off with all of our runners being recognised here at the Prague International Marathon 2023.